Welcome to the upper frequency line. This is a recording of a live connection session with Eva and Therese. Please give yourself time to sit undisturbed during the connection. Sit comfortably with closed eyes or looking softly into the distance. September 16th. Okay. Let's see what's happening in the field. Oh, there is something happening in the field.
I was just wondering if it's just in me because of the lightening of the restrictions here that it's feeling different in the body now, but
there's an upward movement in the middle. like a shaft, so coming in from the sides and up to the middle. There's an upward movement.
It's feeling really good.
It's interesting because there's a sense of direction in it. Doesn't really feel like it's moving along, like on the line. It's more a stationary movement. So, and that could be that it's, in your body, or that's holographic in the field. It's actually a very typical kidney meridian upward movement. The one up the spine, up the front of the spine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what it feels like to me personally from getting the restrictions lifted, that it's pushed me forward, and even though I know that there's gonna within not the very distant future, there's gonna be a stop again where it's gonna be finished. It feels like, well, that's not gonna be able to stop me, because it feels like I've already been pushed that fast forward, and in a movement that it doesn't matter, because it can try to stop me, but I'll find my way around it or through it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it started already yesterday anyway, from when I listened to the science about the frontal cortex and all that stuff. I think it already started there when my brain got something out from the science about that. And
what was it that you heard?
That the positive thinking, what it does, where it happens in the brain, and what actually happens then to the body, and how it will make you think different of the situation. and how that will then change your how you are in the moment. I know it's hard to describe.
It's not really responding to what you're talking about in the field. It might be doing it in you, but I don't feel it responding in the field. So the movement that is there is actually a gathering from the sides and then shooting it up the middle.
Okay.
Like a central chimney.
Yeah.
Or like an arrow up the middle.
I'll try and find that instead of my own. There it is, I can feel it now.
How is that different from what you were feeling before?
Well, it's not as it's not as exciting. I mean, I can feel the.
No, it's actually quite a seriousness in it.
Yeah.
It's a very it probably feels like a very measured, precise upward movement, a funneling of the resources into the center and upward. And it's quite different compared to what we felt a lot of other days, where we've had a lot of creative and joy and love, and this is a completely different feel to it.
Yeah.
This is like down to business.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at the frequency line we're at. I mean, the feeling in the field is the same really as that frequency line. It's just we can sort of track where we are in relation to other days when we go to the line, as opposed to just feeling into the field, what's happening in the field. So usually what's happening in the field will, when we go to the line, will then show up as one of the days on the line. Like that particular movement will be showing up on that day of the line. It's just like when we first check into the field, it's like it's magnified, that we're only feeling this day in the field, whereas when we look at the line, we're seeing the progression. And that's exactly what I'm feeling and seeing when we go to the line. I feel that space that signifies today has that upward arrow in it, and the feeling upward movement. Not like a step, it's more of an internal movement, and we're still at the same height as the other days, as far as I can tell. And it doesn't actually really feel like, moving forward on the line either. It's kind of like stationary on the line. Which is really what the other days have been too, except we had a couple of days that were where it felt like it was moving along as well. So interesting with that movement. I wonder if we have a look at the volcano and all of that we were looking into yesterday. I wonder if this very serious sort of upward chimney thing could have anything to do with a volcano. Las Palmas or La Palma. Can't remember what it's called now. So if we remove the volcano, whatever action is happening with the volcano, what happens to our movement today? Well, it actually doesn't go chimney up if we remove the volcano from that. Interesting.
Is there something clearing out from the under the sea that's kind of coming up through the volcano?
It really does feel like it, because the chimney in the volcano, it doesn't feel hot either. It's actually so it's almost like probably kind of like a the pore in a pore in the skin, where it was blocked, and now, like you were saying yesterday, like acne almost.
Yeah.
And now it's open, so now the ventilation is working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't actually looked into if there's been any more development, if there's been any more quakes. Should actually go and have a look at that. But it'll take me a few minutes to find that page again. But what we can do is we can have a look at our earth layers that we were sitting with yesterday, and to see if any of the other layers, or the same layer, any of the layers are interested in moving up, and just being held or sat with or understood in some way. Not picking up anything from any of the layers.
I'm not either. There is one layer that kind of half thinking about something, but it's just so slightly.
Yeah, that's the mantle.
Yeah.
The one between the crust and the one we were with yesterday. But it's not picking up on the invitation, so.
Yeah, no.
So we'll leave that one for another day. What about humanity and the people? How many % are up here? 25.
It feels to me, it's still like there is a little bit of a change. If there's a change in the one that's up there, or if there's a change the one below. There's some kind of
Actually, I can feel some movement on the lower line, almost like a churning in the waters. Like if you imagine like a swamp,
Yeah,
or it's kind of churning a little bit, or there's some movement in the murky waters.
yeah,
So there's some stirrings
yeah.
in the murky water.
Definitely stirrings. Yeah,
But up here on the top line, I don't feel really anything other than that sort of serious sort of upward chimney from that's got to do with a volcano. Um,
it's very still.
yeah, people wise, planet wise, everything is quite still in the upper one, contented and still. It's like nothing's happening. But the lower one, so let's just sit and listen and feel from a distance, but with an open heart. Let's see if we can hold that, whatever it is that's happening down there in the lower swamp, in the lower line, in the murky waters. The feeling to me, the murky waters feels like humanity, like it's the human population, and it's kind of stirring in the population.
Yeah,
Like a slight restlessness as well.
I don't like the feeling down here. To me, there's
I'm not actually down there. I'm actually up at the top. I'm just listening to it or feeling into it.
yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe I'm down there. I just yeah. I'll just see if I can feel it
It's a
from the
bit of
top.
an uneasy feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better from watch it, listen, and feel it from up the top.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Now we've got a connection happening. Uh, in somewhere in the middle of the murky waters, there's a light coming to the surface. Actually, some kind of light that's connected up. It connected up with us, and then it started to rise. Um, a little bit of a similar movement actually as the volcano, where it's kind of gathered from the sides, coalescing into the middle, and then rising up towards the surface of the murky waters. But the connection continues up to us, to our line.
I'm really feeling it in my crown, but at the back here, like I can feel it through my whole channel and up.
And the feeling is a little bit like, like how a dolphin kind of gathers power in its tail to shoot up out of the water. But the feeling is that it's gathering momentum, gathering power to shoot up out of the water like a rocket. It could be that if you feel into that gathering, that sort of propeller feeling, like it feels exactly like a dolphin,
Yeah.
which is, they can kind of almost dance on the surface of the water. But if they even do that even stronger, they will shoot up out of the water. It's that movement, it feels like it feels like when that has gathered enough power to shoot up, it's almost like it's going to take the whole surface of the water and therefore also all of the rest of the water with it when it rises. It's an interesting feeling, actually. I kind of like, if you consider that the whole water is really like a cloth. And so if you have a rocket shooting up, then it doesn't pierce the cloth, but it takes the cloth with it. But the cloth isn't just the surface; it's like more like a tub.
I understand.
Full of water. Mm. Well, the feeling has kind of died down now. It's not actually shooting upwards anymore. It's still clearly there underneath the surface, like slightly further down. I think it was just showing the action, but it's not going to do it now. It's not going to do it like today.
Yeah.
It probably just showed the potential of that rising. Okay. There are even rings on the water, the murky water. Now that she's sort of gone back down, there are still rings going out on the surface of the water. As a kind of a ripple effect of that we just witnessed. Shall we have a look at the shield?
Yeah.
Whoa. Got a triple shield. Got one the metal part of the shield, so to speak, metal aspect of it. There's one sort of 2/3 of the way out, and then there's two close together right at the edge of the shield field. Do you have that, or do you have a different? Is your shield different?
I'm not sure. No, I think there are 3 layers there as well.
What about everyone else who's connected to us? Yeah, there's triple layers there too. Interesting. What's that about?
I don't know. Is it one for radiation, EMFs and stuff, and one for viruses and one for toxins?
No, not responding to that. Wondering if it's just kind of showing complexity. It might be that it's like for different types of things, but it's not really responding to that in particular.
Yeah.
Not for me, maybe for you, but no, it's I can't really get a grasp on what that is. It's almost like it's got to do with what's outside of it. The feeling that I'm getting at the edge where the two close together are is that it's in a city, or a town. It's like old type buildings, so older medieval type buildings made of rocks and things. But it's like the shield stretches out to almost right against up against buildings of that sort of old style, medieval style buildings. But like in towns in Germany, or not not so much city, but towns that have older buildings.
Yeah.
But the feeling with the shield is that it's butting up sort of just right against the building. So it's like, I wonder if it could be that it's got to do with butting up against society, or more populated area, or populated, but whereas before, a lot of what we felt has, like, it didn't feel like there were so many people or anything like
Yeah.
that close by. I still don't feel the people, but I feel the structures
Yeah.
at the edge of the double layer, the outer double layer. Almost like, like maybe it's sort of testing itself against or holding against the weight of buildings, the weight of structures. It's not really being leaned on, but it's like it's dared to go near and stand right next to the building.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, before we were much further away from everything. How does that feel when I say that?
Yeah, no, it does definitely resonates.
So it's like it's gained more strength in a way.
And
Power.
confidence.
Power is probably a good word. Power.
Yeah.
It's like it's got more power within itself, so it dares go and compare itself to the walls of these buildings that have stood the test of time. And it's actually finding itself sufficient when compared to these walls. It's not finding itself too small, or overpowered or anything. It's standing very solidly, matter-of-factly there without being affected.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. I still think it's extremely comforting, and I like that
Yeah.
confidence feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.